we are concerned, we shall do all in our power to resist this closure programme, and we would urge all our members to continue to support union policy, to defend their pit and their job.
Welcome to Bold Miners' Spirit of 84.
Together through the land, keep the spirit, keep the way. Brother, sister, make a stand. Unity will win the day. Raise your banner high, strength to strength and line by line. Unity must never die.
Even though I was a shop steward and a member of the Labour Party, I wouldn't say I was a political campaigner. Then, on the 6th of March 1984, the NCB announced that they were going to close Corton Wood Pit. Within a few days, half of the miners in Yorkshire were out on strike, and on the 12th of March, the NUM Executive Committee sanctioned the strike as official. That changed everything forever.
It took less than a fortnight for women to get involved. I saw Marsha Marshall on the television news being asked about the strike and how long it would last before the men had to go back to work. "We'll eat grass first," she said.
I was determined that I wasn't going to stay at home like I had during the strikes in 1972 and 1974. I'd cried a lot then. I was cold and hungry all the time. I got sick and tired of seeing baked beans and egg, beans and chips, beans on toast. I wasn't going to cry this time, and I wasn't going to go hungry. I was behind the strike from the beginning, and I wasn't going to give in or change my mind.
I came from Durham in 99, married a laddie from the Coal Creek mine. The finest lad that a girl could ever know, till he brought me his washing from the pit below, scrubbing the miners' clothes, scrubbing the miners' clothes, all piled up in a ghastly stack, heavy as lead and smelly and black. Oh, the pain in me aching back, scrubbing the miners' clothes. Now your Coorombra miner is a grimy sort of bloke, so I chuck in his duds for an all-night soak. I take me bar of soap and grate it like a cheese, chuck it in the bucket with me grubby dungarees, scrubbing the miners' clothes, scrubbing the miners' clothes, all piled up in a ghastly stack, heavy as lead and smelly and black. Oh, the pain in me aching back, scrubbing the miners' clothes. I drag them from the copper to the rinsing tub, pound them with a dolly and scrub, scrub, scrub. I pour away the mucky water, do it all again, heave them through the ringer and pray it doesn't rain. Scrubbing the miners, you can sing, scrubbing the miners' clothes, all piled up in a ghastly stack, heavy as lead and smelly and black. Oh, the pain in the aching back, scrubbing the miners' clothes. Now all you maids who to marriage do incline, never wed a laddie from the Coal Creek mine. A squatter may be surly, a merchant may be mean, a banker may be boring, but they're easier to clean. Scrubbing the miners' clothes, scrubbing the miners' clothes, all piled up in a ghastly stack, heavy as lead and smelly and black. Oh, the pain in me aching back, scrubbing the miners' clothes, scrubbing the miners' clothes, scrubbing the miners' clothes. Thank you very much, and great that you joined in. I have to talk because I've got to change instruments. I worked with a group of women just after the strike who called themselves the North Staffordshire Miners' Wives Group. And I was asked to go and work with them and help them write songs. And this is one of them. It's called No Going Back. And that was their phrase. In fact, all the words in the song are their words. Will you join me on the chorus, No Going Back?
We're too deep in it now. No going back. There is no limit now. No going back. You've struck the women now. No going back. Okay? Oh, we're changing over. Right? Okay, I'm getting all wired up differently. Oh, and that one's purple. It goes with me dress. You've really spoiled it now, Jack. Are you okay down there? Do you want to try the chorus with me? I know you can't hear the guitar, but you will in a minute. For there is no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. No going back. You've got it, that's great. The seasons of the year, flowers grow where once the earth was cold and bare. Streams feed the rivers, rivers feed the sea. The strength of my friends will feed the change in me. And there is no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. No going back. Since the miners' strike has ended, a new life has begun. We're different women after all we've seen and done. We've learned the world's divided, we have made a choice. We may have lost a battle, but we found a voice. There is no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. If you're a worker, it's harder if you're black. It's hard when you are old or poor or get the sack. It's harder for a woman when she tries to say she doesn't think the kitchen sink is where she'll stay. For there is no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. Some families understand that a woman's rights are equal to the rights of man. So if you call me sister when I joined your picket line, better be there with me, brother, when I fight for mine. There's no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. No going back. Alone I'm going nowhere, but with friends here at my side, we'll face the bitter future and the storm we'll ride. We'll finish what we started, go on as we begin, with only chains to lose and all the world to win. For there is no going back, we're too deep in it now. No going back, there is no limit now. No going back, you struck the women now. No going back.
Jean McCrindle organised a social evening, and the women talked about how they get behind the miners. The first official meeting took place at Joan Davis's house. It was at that meeting they decided to call themselves Barnsley Women Against Pit Closures. They also talked about going picketing. There was some resistance at first from the men, who claimed that it was hard enough to organise groups of men without women being involved. When the women point out that they didn't need organising by men and could organise themselves, the blokes had to step out of the way.
You have to remember there were children starving. We knew Thatcher was trying to break us, so we had to galvanise as a community, band together. The women of Seam, that Savings in Area Mines, ran 14 free cafes where anyone in the community who needed feeding could get a meal. We served 500 people a day, often many more during the school holidays and when the children came down. And the pies. You should have seen the pies. Me mother, that's Myrtle Macpherson, was famous for making her pies. Her recipe's gone all over the globe. She made fantastic things on an absolute shoestring and on a domestic cooker with only 4 rings and 1 little oven.
You're about to hear the voice of Bob Minto, who was 96 years old when I met him, and he was a miner in the West Stanley Colliery.
When I first started, I got 35 bob a week, 8 shilling a day. Not much, is it? I mean, when I started, I was just a rag and bone, and I worked my way up. I was just 14 then, and I'm 96 now, so to tell you how long it was. But what you do is, first start, you go in at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's when the coal that the miners have mined that day are starting to come out to the surface. And we used to go and pick the stones out of the coal and chuck them into boxes. And then the coal used to go down into the trucks. And then we learned that. And then I went on to the tippler. That's where the trucks, tubs used to come up from the shaft, used to come up onto the surface. And I used to put them in the tippler and tip them and pull them, and they used to go into a certain belt to be. And then I went from there down the pit to work at the shaft bottom. I'll be about 16. I worked my way up, and I went to night schools and everything like that. I used to go to Sunderland College as well. I used to get the bus to Reckendon, and then get the bus from Reckendon to Sunderland University, and then I used to work there till 2:30 in the afternoon, and then I used to come and get home, and that was the end of my shift. We had pits here, there, and all over in Durham. And what we did was we picked a number 1 and a number 2 safety officer. And we were allowed at weekends to travel around the pit and find out what was what and where was where and everything like that. So that in case there was an accident in the pit, we were there to know where to go. We didn't get paid for it. Not a penny. We all volunteered for safety. What you've got to do, you've got to go to the first scene available, and you've got to go down with about 4 lamps and maybe 4 or 5 men, and they would go strutting around in the scene with the man that worked there, because he would know where to go. And then after they cleaned that out, they would drop down to the next scene, because you're taking the air and the oxygen and everything with you. Because if you have an explosion, the oxygen's eaten up by the gas and the flames. So it's no good going deep, because there's no oxygen for you. You've got to go down in sections. The explosion occurred at 5:45 p.m. or thereabouts on the 16th of February 1909. Those men burned to death. What sort of a death would that be? Gas, fire, dust, heat, and all that in one little place. A lot of those lads, they would just be found sitting up. Lack of oxygen. As the explosion went through the mine, anything in its track it would burn, but anything to the side it would bypass till the oxygen died out the air, and you would be sitting. And it would gradually get worse, and then that's it. What a death. And you had to go and find them. Have you any idea? Frighten me. People used to say, miners, what the hell do they know?
So I'm not sure how to follow that, but I would like to build a song together. And the song is called Guard Your Man Weel or Guard Your Man Well by Johnny Handel. And it talks not about the horrors that we just heard about being the person doing the hard labour at the risk of losing your life, but about the family who are at home and who don't know if the loved one's going to come back. So, are you happy just to sing one note or hum one note? Yeah? Okay. So, the note, which one should we go for? Do you want to try humming that with us? Great, thanks. So I'm going to move away from the microphone so that I can pick you up, and I'm going to kind of bring you into the song by sampling you. Okay, I'll start the note and then I'll move away and I'll record. So keep going, breathe if you need to. Here's the note. Okay, thank you very much. So, like I say, the song was written by Johnny Handel. And you should hear yourself now. down in the rock far from sight. Love him while he's still at home, for mine and work's always the same. A stone from the slick could fall out so quick, and in blood there is written his name. Sit with your bairns and your man, give him lass all that you can, and come the long day, send your thoughts far away. How things in the pit might gan run. He'll work his shift and get by, come out from the dark to the sky. For mining's his trade, and of pit stock he's made, and a wife must learn never to cry.
The phone would ring in the dead of night, and each time I answered it, I knew who it was likely to be. A striking miner, reaching the end of his tether. They'd wait until their wives had gone to bed. They were going to kill themselves because they couldn't pay the electric bill. I had hundreds of people contact me, particularly men, and it was always during the night. If we women hadn't supported the miners, the strike would have collapsed. I've no doubt about that.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside. Blood from broken hands and feet. Blood that's dried on pit black meat. Blood from hearts that know no beat. Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside. Mangled, splintered piles of bones lie buried neath a pile of stones, and not a soul to hear their groans.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad, for there's bairns inside. Bairns who knew that mountainside, bairns who had no time to hide, bairns beneath the blackness slide.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bairns inside. Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside. Geordie's standing at the door, while Mrs. Jackson, like a fool, complains about the price of coal. Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's blood inside. Close the coalhouse door, lad. There's bones inside. Close the coalhouse door, lad, for there's bairns inside.
Close the coalhouse door, lad, and stay outside.
husband lost a lot of weight. He just went so thin. It was shocking to see a lot of the men lose their muscle. Because they worked down the mine, they had to do a lot of heavy manual work. And they were losing the mass of their bodies because there wasn't enough food to go around. You'd give it to your children. It was pretty bleak. To realize that 3 weeks from now on, you're not going to have a penny coming in is an enormous thing. To realize that you're not going to have anything and you've got to clean and clothe your children and feed them on a very small amount from the dough.
You're in the United States, probably in the late 1800s. Ever since the United States was invaded by Europeans, slowly, big business took over. And the big corporations spread out like a malignant net right across the United States. One of the big corporations was the Englewood Mines. And they had mines right from Pennsylvania right down to below Kentucky, West Virginia. And many of the mines were way out in the country, and it wasn't beautiful country for them. It was savage, and it had a law that was made by the corporations for the corporations. The communities were small, and the corporations ran everything. They would have very few facilities, schools, shops, etc., for the miners. And the most dreaded one was the company store, which paid the miners in scrip, which was company currency. So the Englewood Mines. It has a nice refrain, very easy to sing. Hard times in the Englewood Mines, and it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. The life of the miner, at best it is hard. We work for good money, get paid with a card. Our bodies are famished, our souls they are sore. We're paid off in scrip on the company store, and it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. The great coal companies are growing apace. They're making their millions by grinding our face. Coal companies keep grasping for more and still more. They'll soon own the earth through the company store. And it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. They keep lowering our wages time after time. We once had $1, we now have a dime. Out of the company store, the miner pays whole and gets but the fraction for mining their coal. And it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. The pirates and brigands who fought hand to hand, who'd scuttle a ship and who'd pillage the land. They've formed a collusion, they've all come ashore. They now ply their trade through the company store. And it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. We signed then a contract agreed between men. It holds us like slaves, it never holds them. And when they are finally called from our shore, I hope they'll take with them their company store. And it's hard times in the Englewood Mines. The last one of the mines owned by the Englewood Corporation closed in 2018 in America. Songs from the mining communities in America, there's a huge number of them. So it was a real honor to be involved here in the miners' strike in 1984. Ewan McCall and myself we traversed the country and we made friends with a number of the miners themselves, if they had time to make friends with any visiting singers. But the women were incredible. There was one particular one named Iris Preston, who was a courier from mine to mine to mine during the 1984 strike. And after the strike was over, the women wanted to continue doing the union work. So they decided to form, this was one of the areas, I think she was from Hull, and they've decided to form a women's union, just women, a union for all the things that women needed as women, not just necessarily the strike. They didn't like the word union. They felt that it was kind of man-based. So I made this song out of some of the words when we recorded them. It's called Women's Union, and it's a chorus. I'm sure you'll grab it. If you don't, you're in trouble. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Women left the kitchen sink, left the beds unmade. Women left the school and shop and joined the barricade. Women came from everywhere like we never had before to join the miners in the strike of 1984. We're in the women's union, we're all together now. We're fully paid up members and we've taken the union vow. We know where we're going and we know the reason why. We're the women's union and we're aiming for the sky. Way back in the good old days when men went out to picket, women scraped for food and coal wherever we could get it. We greeted scabs with dustbin lids, then with lifelong silence. And we were there, always there, the women and the miners. Come on, lip read. We're in the women's union, we're all together now. We're fully paid up members and we've taken union vow. We know where we're going and we know the reason why. We're the women's union and we're aiming for the sky. I'll never forget the 14 months of 1984. A penny was like a pound at home, McGregor was at the door. We ran soup kitchens, spoke at rallies, rattled collecting tins. And we were there, always there, the women and the miners. We're in the women's union, we're all together now. We're fully paid up members and we've taken the union vow. We know where we're going and we know the reason why. We're the women's union and we're aiming for the sky. I'll try to remember this next bit. Men learn to cook and wash, women learn to sew. Let's take that again. You know, hold on. No, I was going to say something. Barbra Streisand once interrupted a live show when the band didn't come in. So I want to sing this properly. Okay. Okay, off you go.
Way back? Shall we go from way back?
Stop this.
No. My name is Peggy Seeger. I remembered that. All right. Men learn to cook and wash. Children learn to sew. Stand there at the kitchen door and watch the women go. We're going where the action is to carry on the fight. Though the miners' strike is over, long live the miners' strike. We're in the women's union, we're all together who cares? Nurses strike. When nurses strike, when their strike, join the picket line. When teachers strike for better pay, join the picket line. When workers fight to win their rights, join the picket line. And we'll be there, always there, on the picket line. We're in the Women's Union, we're all together now. We're fully paid up members and we've taken the union vow. We know where we're going and we know the reason why. We're the Women's Union and we're aiming for the sky. Well,
Well, I've done some things in my life, but sharing a stage with Peggy Seeger and trying to sing after her. Betty and I are going to try and sing our women's song, and I know there's quite a few in here who at least know the chorus, so if you join in, please, we'd be very grateful. We've got no music, just our sweet voices.
We are women, we are strong, we are fighting for our lives, side by side with our men who work the nation's mines, united by the struggle, united by the past, and it's here we go, for the women of the working class. Ours is a unity that threats could never breach. Ours an education books and schools could never teach. We face the taunts and the violence of Thatcher's thugs in blue. When you're fighting for survival, you've got nothing left to lose. We are women, we are strong, we are fighting for our lives, side by side with our men who work the nation's mines, united by the struggle, united by the past, and it's here we go, for the women of the working class, and it's here we go, for the women of the working class.
Buying a Christmas tree was out of question. I'm thinking me kids are going to have no bleeding Christmas tree. They've hardly got out for Christmas. I went upstairs because I was crying. I didn't want the kids to see me upset. I'm looking out the window and I looked at next door's garden and they've got a tree. I thought that would make a good Christmas tree. 2 o'clock in the morning, I went and fucking sawed it down. And do you know, that lad never mentioned anything to me. He must have known it was me. Believe it or not, I didn't swear before the strike, but I soon picked the language up.
Of course it was hard, but there were lots of moments of laughter and happiness. One morning in 1985, we had a great laugh. We used to hire a minibus to transport us to the pits. It depended on the garage and what they could spare. This particular night, they gave us a white one with a blue stripe down the side. It was dark, so the first roadblock we came to, and any other roadblock after that, the police just waved us through. I couldn't understand this at first. They thought it was one of theirs. When we organised group trips to join picket lines and pit camps, we were often questioned by the police. We had all sorts of excuses. We were strippers going to London. We'd been to a nightclub in Nottingham. The funny thing is that they often believed it.
Very much. That was a very old tune called The Bonnie Pit Laddie, and we're going to play some slightly more recent late 19th century tunes from the Clough family from Camas near Blythe, Newsom. 6 generations of pitmen, 6 generations of pipers. Oh, yes. And Catherine's granddad was a pitman in Durham. Yay.
Good afternoon. It's absolutely fantastic to be here. This song I'm going to sing was written by a friend of the family called Ed Pickford, who chronicled the mining life brilliantly. And he wrote this song in 1970 when the pits started to close. The pit, Hartlepool Colliery, where the Elliott family worked, closed in 65. And the very last pit in County Durham closed in 1993, Weymouth Colliery. We've heard a lot about the struggles and what have you, but one thing that nobody should ever forget was that the sense of humour the miners had underground, because it kept them going. I think you would agree, Heather. They always found a way to laugh at the situation. And I'll tell you a little story that my dad told me about my Uncle Len. By the way, none of the Elliott family are shy. None of them. Never were. And my dad told me my Uncle Len was in the cage on the very last shift at Hartlepool Colliery. And he was in the cage with this fella called Staff Dean. And let's put it this way, his personal hygiene wasn't the best, okay? So my Uncle Len apparently said to him, I'll tell you what, Staff, on our 2 pits that should be shut. And he said, all right. What's that like? Your armpit. Anyway, we've changed the chorus for Farewell Johnny Miner, so Nottingham's out and Northumberland is in. Johnny Miner joining, and it's farewell Durham, Yorkshire too, Northumberland the same to you, Scotland, South Wales bid adieu, farewell Johnny Miner. Well, you babbled with the slide and scale, lungs turned black and faces pale. Now your body's up for sale. Farewell, Johnny Miner, and it's farewell Durham, Yorkshire too, Northumberland the same to you, Scotland, South Wales bid adieu. Farewell, Johnny Miner. Well, they promised you the earth sometimes, get coal from their stinking mines. Now the justice for their crimes is farewell, Johnny Miner, and it's farewell Durham, Yorkshire too, Northumberland the same to you, Scotland, South Wales bid adieu. Farewell, Johnny Miner, and this cheer up, John, don't take it hard. Unemployment isn't bad. They'll treat you well in the knacker's yard. Farewell, Johnny Miner, and it's farewell Durham, Yorkshire too, Northumberland the same to you, Scotland, South Wales bid adieu. Farewell, Johnny Miner, and it's farewell Durham, Yorkshire too, Northumberland the same to you, Scotland, South Wales bid adieu. Farewell, Johnny Miner. It's been quite an emotional day for me today. I saw Peggy Seeger for the first time in 60 years, so it was lovely to see her. First time I met Peggy, I was 11 in my grandma's kitchen. And this song I'm going to sing is a fantastic song, and the title of the song is A Question. And we really are in a troubled world at the moment. But it asks the question that never was needed to be asked of my Auntie Doreen. And the question is, which side are you on? And do you think we should ask Keir Starmer that question? Your bit is the refrain, which side are you on? Dead easy. So please, let's hear you sing it. Harlan County, Kentucky, 1931, Florence Reese. Come all of you workers and listen to my tale about the good old union that's coming here to stay. Which side are you on? 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 My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the union till every battle's won. Which side are you on? 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 They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a union man or a thug for J.H. Blair. Which side are you on? 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 Don't scout for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on? 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 Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man? Which side are you on? 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 Come all of you good workers and listen to my tale about the good old unions coming here to stay. Which side are
the day that they announced the coal mines were going to be closed down, Michael Heseltine spoke up in Parliament. I got a call from the local BBC, and they said, there's going to be this announcement today, all the mines are going to be closed down. Can you write a song in 15 minutes and come up to Newcastle and be on the telly tonight? I said, oh, I don't know if I can do that. He said, don't worry, if you can't do it, we've got to contact this fella called Garbett. I said, I'll do it. One song, two choruses. The first chorus goes like this. Try it. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and cheats. Try that one. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and cheats. There'll be tears in the eyes of the weak, and in the eyes of the most strong-hearted. Tears in the eyes of the miners and wives when these cold town days are done. And it's towered above this town since this century first started, but the towers will be all torn down and a hole with life hauled away. And there'll be tears in the eyes of the weak, and in the eyes of the most strong-hearted. Tears in the eyes of the miners and wives when these cold town days are done. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and the cheats. How a man the liars and cheats. Men have worked it in fear and rage, and they've cursed it to hell in its darkness, but they'll walk from that last ship's cage, and they'll curse what the future's to bring. And there'll be tears in the eyes of the weak, and in the eyes of the most strong-hearted. Tears in the eyes of the miners and wives when these cold town days are done. How am I? How am I the liars and the cheats? How am I the liars and the cheats? How am I the liars and the cheats? How am I the liars and cheats? And the fight between the mine and the man, and the lives and blood that it cost us, that was never to be lost or won, because the powers that be ruled the day. And there'll be tears in the eyes of the weak, and in the eyes of the most strong-hearted. Tears in the eyes of the miners and wives when these cold down days are done. Yes, there'll be tears in the eyes of the weak, and in the eyes of the most strong-hearted. Tears in the eyes of the miners and wives when these cold town days are done. How am I? How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars? One more time, go on. How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars and their cheats? How am I the liars and cheats? Cold Town Days. That was my 15-minute song. This took a bit longer. This was meant to be a farewell to coal mining song. It's a song called Coal Mountain. Come all you brave and you bold. Read what is scraped in dust across my soul. And raise up your voices in the songs of the coal. This is my band. I swear I heard cold mountains say, begone ye miners, you've had your day. My cold black heart you ripped and tore. Now no one wants that anymore. I said it's true, those days are done, but I see battles yet to be won. I'll point white finger, I'll fill black lung, as long as there's a song still to be sung. Come on, you brave and you bold, read what is scraped in dust across my soul, and raise up your voices in the songs of the cold. The mountain shook his mighty head. There is no sense in what you've said. Gone is the meaning, past are those days. This world we know now has different ways. I said, and yet the work is still toil for the rich man, his plate to fill. Their voices echo across this land. They all need songs with good strong hands. Come on, you brave and you bold, read what is scraped in dust across my soul, and raise up your voices in the songs of the cold. The mountain roared a fearsome sound, but in its shadow we stood our ground. The songs we sang, the whole world heard, took heed, took strength from simple words. New generations, how can they know what they hold certain will fade and go? This was our lifetime, cast in our name. Now songs are all that remain. Come on, you brave and you bold, read what is scraped in dust across my soul, and raise up your voices in the songs of the cold. Come on, you brave and you bold, read what is scraped in dust across my soul, and raise up your voices in the songs of the cold.
Our little village had been a quiet family village, apart from the constant lorries carrying coal from the pit to the power stations. The sound of pit boots hitting the pavements always sounded like tap dances to me. And the women chattering while the bands played, all was well. These were familiar sounds, signs the pit was working and the coal was being hewed. August the 24th, 1984, changed all that. The police remained in Easington, blocking off any route that was near the pit. There was a police cordon where they stood, arms linked, the line only ever broken to pull some poor picket through. Once through, he'd be beaten by the police. I recall one lad pulled through the line. They took him behind the pit wall and beat him with a hosepipe. His mum was there that day, and she could hear his cries, but she could do nothing. Believe it or not, the young paper lad was put in the back of the police van. He'd got through the police line, only to deliver papers, but they got him. They treat us women disgracefully, shouting and calling us names, waving money at us and laughing because they're coining it in and we had nothing. The police stopped bands. Where's your dad? Tell us where he is and we'll give you a bar of chocolate. Retired miners stood on street corners, were told to move or they'd be arrested. At certain times of the day, a good number of them would get into formation and march around the roads close to the pit. We would stand opposite the line, shouting as they marched. We women were told we'd be arrested if we shouted scab. So instead of shouting scab, a few of us would stand at one side of the road and the other lot at the other side of the road. One side shouted ska and the other shouted ab. And we never got arrested.
Bernie Draco.
It's treason cold in the colney yard at the cool grey light of dawn.
As the four-shift ride in bed you bide, where you're safe and warm. For the water's broken in and you froze to the skin, hands as light to boards. As you crawl on your belly in the clarts and slurry, it's a dark and a dismal world. But
hey, what a laugh in the colliery baths with all them big fat asses. There's knacky knees and hammer toes and the bits what praise the lasses.
As the wash and scrub mind the patter's good, as they discuss the state of the nation, economy, philosophy, beer and cohabitation. Them lads out there that stand and bear the div and tax are flippant, as they chew the fat about this and that, and we's got the fastest whippet. But
hey, what a laugh in the colliery baths with all them big fat asses. There's knacky knees and hammer toes and the bits what plays the lasses.
Look around Billy Kelly with his brown ale belly. He cannot see his feet and things. 6'4" with a back like a door. Mrs. only 4'8". He went out the other night, tried to drink the big club dry. Had a hell of a fight with his little bitty wife, and she's blacked the great fuel's eye. But
hey, what a laugh in the colliery baths with all them big fat asses. There's knacky knees and hammer toes and the bits what plays the lasses.
If you think it's the truth, even bet your boots when you're talking to old Josh Bell. He can tell more lies and spin more tales than any tongue can tell. He's reckoned he's used for years and years in every pit in Durham. But if you add the years up one by one, the buggers are 107. But
hey, what a laugh in the colliery baths with all them big fat asses. There's knacky knees and hammer toes and the bits what please the lasses.
Them stinking kids, many a widow's maid, and many's the bairn left homeless. Still a dinner laugh when they're in the baths, and there's blood among the coal dust. Men of courage they don't lack, let no one dare to say. Have you seen them banners draped in black on Durham big meeting day? But
hey, what a laugh in the colliery baths with all them big fat asses. There's knacky knees and hammer toes and the bits what please the lasses. Yeah.
The next song I'm going to sing was written by a friend called Benny Graham. Jeslo knows him reasonably well, I think. And he came into the school I worked in Wallsend in 2001, and he wrote this song. Because right underneath where the school was, Wallsend Colliery was. And in 1835, there was a horrendous explosion. And a lot of men and boys went in, and they didn't all come out. And Benny wrote a play and a song, and the title of the song and the play is Just One Spark. So as a bit of a refrain for you to join in with, Just One Spark. If you know it all, sing along. And the kids actually performed the play at Segedunum, the Roman fort in Wallsend. And that very same year in the Ukraine, there was a massive explosion in the pit. Very poignant. So, Just One Spark. Underground where the coal seems like just one spark, far away from the sun and sky, just one spark. The collier lads must sweat for pay, see their families through another day. But the whole damn lot can be blown away by just one spark. Empires built on the price of coal, just one spark. Not one thought for the miner's soul, just one spark. A healthy profit is the master's aim. All goes wrong, they'll take no blame. It's a careless miner with a naked flame, or just one spark. Life comes cheap in the face of greed, just one spark. Widows and children in desperate need, just one spark. Husband, father's gone so fast, torn from the family in a fire damp's blast. Life or death, the die is cast by just one spark.
It was a Wednesday morning. I got a phone call at about 8:30. It was Chris Kitchen, the General Secretary of the NUM, who'd previously been the branch secretary at Kellenly. "Have you seen Betty?" he said. I told him that I'd seen it at the weekend. "Will you pass on our condolences?" I didn't know what he was talking about. He must have realised. "I'm sorry, but Donnie was killed at work last night." I put down the phone and I didn't know whether I was coming or going. Then it dawned on me that Betty would be on her own. So I jumped into my car, I drove over to our house. I banged on Betty's front door. When I answered, she could see I was crying. She smiled at first. "Whatever's the matter, love?" I looked at her. "You don't know yet, do you? Your Donnie's been killed in the pit."
I couldn't believe what Anne was telling me. I just walked backwards and forwards, refusing to believe it. The news of what happened started to come to me. There'd been a roof fall. Donnie's mates had managed to dig him out, and at first he was conscious, but in a lot of pain. Anne got mixed up and told me that Donnie had been killed that morning, not the night before. It took 3 or 4 days before I realised that I'd got the wrong day for the day that I lost my Donnie. A team of paramedics had been rushed from Pinderfields Hospital to Pontefract Hospital, waiting for the miners to get Donnie out of the pit, which took quite a long time. He was in a lot of pain, although they could give him morphine to relieve it. And from being my nurse and working on the wards where we admitted colliery accidents, I knew what sort of death my boy had had. But I was proud of him. I was really proud of him. By the time they got Donnie to Pontefract, it was too late for him. He was pronounced dead. He'd just celebrated his 50th birthday. Donnie is buried at Braden Cemetery near Selby, in a park that looks over the farm. I like it when I go there and see the hens clucking about. My mother had always kept hens, and the boys had always been used to going into the hen room with the hens. And I remember as a little boy, he was very, very mischievous. He used to get up to all sorts of things. And we had a neighbour called Mrs. Chalkley, who just lived down from us at Whalley, and she kept hens. Donnie couldn't say Mrs. Chalkley. He used to call her Mrs. Corkley. Now and again I'd hear his voice, "Mrs. Corkley, Mrs. Corkley, your bloody hens are out." Then she would come out running and saying, "Oh dear, my bloody hens are out again." Donnie would run down the yard and shout, "Mrs. Corky, it was me that let your bloody hens out." He was a well-known miner and a popular lad at Kellingley. The lads made a big collection and decided to build a memorial garden. The Barnsley sculptor, Graham Epson, made a beautiful piece of a miner striking with his pick. The piece became a memorial to all the miners who had lost their lives at Kellingley. It was put up in the pit yard. I was there last week for the memorial service, all the miners that had been killed at Kellingley Colliery. The vicar was a wonderful man. He was really lovely. And everybody always speaks about Women Against Pit Closures. And the vicar said what a marvellous organisation Women Against Pit Closures had been, and how they protested and done picket lines and showed all sorts of defiance over authority. And he stopped at that. I couldn't help it. I had to shout out, and we're still doing it. So I was really proud of my Donny, and I know he goes with me, and I know he approves of everything that I do. When I went to collect his wreath last week, I could hear his words. Whenever I bought him a birthday present or a Christmas present, what he got married and left home, he used to say, "Oh, Mum, you shouldn't spend your money on me like that." And I picked up the wreath, and he was there behind me. "Oh, Mum, you shouldn't spend your money on things like that for me." So I'm proud of him. I love him, and I know he's always with me. The week before Christmas in 2015, Kellingley became the last deep coal mine in Britain to close.
Laughter and tears. They're not different sides of the same coin. They are bound together from the beginning to the end. If you don't laugh, you die. If you don't cry, you die. It's part of who we are. And the fact that so many of the mining communities made so many songs is a tribute to the spirit that they had of creativity, making a life and a culture out of an awful way of earning a living. You know, when people say this or that billionaire is worth so and so much, or this or that trillionaire has earned so and so much this last year, they're not worth it. They don't earn it. The miners earned, and they were worth more than they ever collected. I've been down a number of mines in my life, of all sorts. I've been there when the shot firing went off and all of the oxygen disappeared, and I thought I was going to die. Up and down, clanking on the shaft, pit shaft, walking for miles on the roads underneath. I think people should be paid just for going down there in the first place. And the women, of course we're there. We're always there. Not just behind our man, but beside and within whoever he is. We make it possible for them to be there. And we're left. You know, they talk about innocent women and children being killed. Is there a not innocent woman or child that's being killed these days? You know, anyway, that's my hobby horse, and I'm not going to get on it. I just get so angry at the way the whole system goes. And people who do work of all kinds, so-called menial, the ones that really keep the system going, which is why the OBU was fantastic. The one big union was an idea back in the 30s, rather than this trade, this occupation, this one, bind them all together. And what I said about the women's union, all the women together to get together to do something about it. because there's a woman named Connie Caldor, Canadian singer, and I know we're running late, but I'm making up for getting the effing words in the first half. And she's made a song called It's the Women Who Pay. And it is the women who pay in the end, hugely. And women who have risen up and done what the women did during the 1984 strike, which was astounding. So I'm going to sing a song for tears, because this is the kind of song that you don't hear often. It'll never make it to the top 10 or 20 or 1,000, whichever it is. This lady who made this one, this woman who made this one, she's not an influencer. She's not going to be heard. I don't even know her name. I got the song out of a book. But it shows how important a union is if you die for it. You didn't do no wrong. You didn't do no crime. You give away your young life to slavery in the mine. Slavery in the mine. Our children, they was hungry. They had no clothes to wear. Our children, they was starving, and no one seemed to care. No one seemed to care. I'll go join the union. These was the words you said. I knew they'd bring you back to me, lying cold and dead, lying cold and dead. Go tell the sheriff, go tell his gunmen too, the reason my life is broke is 'cause they've murdered you. 'Cause they've murdered you. And the honored list of those who have fallen for joining the union. Oh. Now, Aunt Molly Jackson was one of our main singers standing up for the NUM, or the NMU it is in the United States. She stumped all around the United States talking about the latest strike. And the song tells you she couldn't sing. You know, lots of people who make up songs can't sing, so-called. But the experience of hearing her sing, a woman who can't sing, who does sing. Aunt Molly Jackson, Google her and find out. She would probably have been delighted that she was Googled back in the 30s. This was the song she opened her speeches with. I am a union woman, brave as I can be. I do not like the bosses, and the bosses don't like me. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. I was born in old Kentucky, in Kentucky born and bred. And when I joined the union, they called me a Russian Red. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. My husband asked the boss for a job. This is what he said. Bill Jackson, I can't work you, sir. Your wife's a Russian Red. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. Now if you want a union fine as one can be, join the dear old NMU and come along with me. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. We are many thousands strong, I am proud to say. We are getting stronger and stronger every day. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. This is about the worst times I have ever saw, to get shot down by gun thugs and framed up by the law. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. The bosses ride fine horses, we walk in the mud. Their banner is the $sign, and ours is striped with blood. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU. I am honored to be here. I am a union woman, brave as I can be. I do not like the bosses, and the bosses don't like me. Last bit. Join the NMU, come and join the NMU.
They killed this village, not just my village, all mining villages. They killed them.
There are no mines left. The younger generation don't even know what a miner is. Mining is part of our history, and it's never going to come back.
Maggie Thatcher, I hate her with a vengeance. The call of the Iron Lady. But you know something? She didn't expect us. Hundreds of Iron Ladies.
I took part in something that was one of the greatest things that has ever happened in this country, and I don't regret anything.
Two, three.
300 million years ago, I was born. My father was the sun in carbon times. From the womb of Mother Earth, below the swamp she gave me birth. Lie trapped in the darkness of a storm. I am cold. Legions of the eagle walked on Celtic land, all through a long 500 years of time. They carved my bones, they called me Jet, they hung me round their Roman necks, a gift of love and beauty for a while. I am cold, I am cold, I am cold. Progress and destruction in my soul, a lepidodendron tree, died and then gave birth to me. I trade blood for energy. I am cold. When Tudors wore the hollow crown, there I lay, naked underneath the northern sky. I fed bitter fires of hate, a thorn between the church and state. Watch the river Tyne flow gently by. I am cold. I make profit out of steam, men could dream. I was a revolution's beating heart. I turned children into slaves, never marked their infant graves. When Britain was the workshop of the world, I am cold, I am cold, I am cold. Progress and destruction in my soul, a lepidodendron tree, died and then gave birth to me. I trade blood for energy. I am coal. I kill by water, fire and gas deep in hell. My seed was money in the soul of monk. I made soap, I made your ale. Some say I even saved the whale. That volcano burning in your heart. I am coal, lionized and then despised all my days, likened to the bugles of the plague. Creative, destructive force, maybe not yet run my cause. I surely was the best of British stone. I am coal, I am coal, I am coal. Progress and destruction in my soul. A lepidodendron tree died and then gave birth to me. I trade blood for energy. I am coal, I am coal, I am coal. Progress and destruction in my soul. A lepidodendron tree died and then gave birth to me. I trade blood for energy. I am coal.
Thank you very much. We have one more treat for you.
There's nothing like this song to bring people together. So let's hear it. A miner's life is like a sailor's board a ship to cross the waves. Every day his life's in danger, still he ventures being brave. Watch the rocks, they're falling daily. Careless miners always fail. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Let's hear. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale.
You've been docked and docked again, boys. You've been loaded two for one. But what have you to show for working since your mining has begun? It's worn-out boots and worn-out miner, lungs of stone and children pale. So keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale. Union miners stand together, do not heed the owner's tale. Keep your hand upon your wages and your eye upon the scale.
Please join me in thanking Jess Lowe, Sandra Kerr, Alistair Anderson and Catherine Tickell, Frankie Archer, Peggy Seeger, the Wilsons, Durham Miners Association Brass Band, and Heather Wood and Betty Cook. This has been Bold Miners Spirit of 84. Thank you so much for coming and enjoy the rest of the day.
together through